Hey, Dave.
Hello, hello, Tom. How you doing?
I'm good. I thought, can
That's
you?
a pretty great. That's a pretty great picture.
Yeah, I thought I'd start with that so that we had something to be up before you just saw my ugly face.
No, you're you're looking extinguished. I mean, distinguished as ever.
Well, thank you. So, how's the hot water?
We're finally back in hot water. So our idea of giving up hot water for Lent only lasted about 10 days.
That doesn't sound good. Oh gosh.
Yeah, the everything it worked out perfectly. We've got a new fine plumber that we really trust, and instead of wanting to just say, "Oh, the unit is shot," he was able to replace the elements, and that was the problem.
Is it
He first
electric?
flushed, yeah, yeah. He first flushed it, and we could detect a little bit of warmth, but when he pulled the elements, one of them was so corroded. I mean, it's we're lucky there wasn't a short and a fire and all that drama. So
Yeah.
yeah, happy ending. He's gonna put a what do you call it? Water filter in for the whole house. So
Oh, okay, that's good.
yeah, I had no. I thought North Carolina we must have this wonderful mountain stream water. Apparently not. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
full of.
there's a in the processing of water, it just depends on, they got to put chemicals in it because lots of times there's farmland and stuff where the animal, you know,
Uh,
shit gets in there and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I don't know. I know New York City, when Nick lived up there, they had great water and it was unfiltered,
mhm,
but it was so high. It was before everybody took a crap in there,
yeah,
Mississippi.
yeah. I always thought the water in New Orleans tasted great, but I don't think it would. Being at the at the bottom of the
The
Mississippi like
bottom.
that.
I don't know. Oh, let me get off this. Okay.
But so you anxious? Did you got all your shots right?
I
Yeah.
do. I do. And
Okay.
now Emily's pretty serious about all this stuff. So now she's waiting 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I would too. I mean, I don't. I'm never going to be taking it for granted. I don't think.
Yeah.
There's something of the idea of gasping, struggling to breathe.
No, there's a lot
I,
of people that have been really sick.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I see all that, and it's kind of nice to, you get the second shot and you kind of feel a little bit freer, like, okay, well,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
And the thing that scares me still is, is what is it? A third of the people are saying that they don't want it, and
I know I can't quite figure that out because all of them are going to end up in the hospital at some point, and they're going to be saved by all these doctors who saved
yeah,
their lives. And to say that, I know African Americans feel like the Tuskegee stuff and all that, but that was a long time ago.
yeah,
And all these, all these vaccines, they're not just for one set of people, they're for everybody. And
yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
taking them.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
don't know.
I can. My suspicion is that there is some conspiracy BS in the background. Where what Bill Gates is trying to put chips in everybody, and
Well, if they can get a microchip through that little needle, more power to
wow,
them.
yeah. But yeah, I think it's still pretty amazing how it became so political. Very sad, but
I mean, Biden
yeah,
seems to be doing a really good job. He's getting the vaccines out there, and Trump is
yeah,
pissed off because he wants credit for developing
yeah,
the vaccines. But
yeah.
hey, Barry.
Hey Barry,
Hey,
you're here already. I thought you usually had something to do.
I do. I usually do a thing in other club we're in, but not today.
Okay, we're glad to see you.
Good day.
What's up? Is that your dog, Dave? Or
That's yeah. That's one of the doxies. Yeah,
Okay.
Karen's outside, and so they're going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice weather up here. It's nice in New Orleans, I hear on the radio as I
It's
listen. in the
nice,
morning.
a little warm, and the muggies are in a little bit, but we'll take that compared to that cold of 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but Colorado's going to get hit hard. 2 feet of snow.
Hey, you know what I want to tell you? I'll probably say it again when other people get on, but I answered that email for Joel.
Uh-huh.
I said, I'll definitely be there. He said, great. Thanks for getting back so soon and waiting on other emails to see who's interested in the reunion.
Yeah, I'll show you what he sent me. Okay, give me just a second. It's the 12.
David, I hope you'd go to that reunion.
Right now, it would be iffy because I want to see how everything really shakes out.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, the latest thing is,
we're talking about in October.
yeah.
He said location will be New Haven indoors at a number of venues in front of large fawning crowds. Complete details will be sent in a couple of weeks and signups will start right away. So, it is New Haven. I don't know where he's going to get the fawning crowds because I think some of us diehards will show up, but I don't know if the Colorado people are going to get on a plane.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
That's what we're waiting on seeing.
Because Mike Johnson doesn't seem like he's in too good a health, and
Well, he wouldn't do it anyway. It has nothing to do with COVID. He can't travel because he's on oxygen.
so is Snake. Snake's on oxygen, so. But hey, I was kind of hoping he might do it at Jones Festival.
That would be nice.
I thought that would be kind of cool.
We did that like 4 years ago. And it turned out nice. It was nice. We had a good turnout, but I think that Joan would have to invite us again and all that. I mean, I guess she would.
I'm sure she would, but it would just be outside, so that would eliminate all the problems that people have about being inside.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I guess he's going to have it at Yale.
Well, last time we had it there in '87, the first night was in his office building in the basement. It was all decorated. A bandstand was set up and all that. That was the first night. The second day was out on not a beach, but overlooking a sound. It was on the water outside. They had big tents up. So that would be perfect.
Okay.
That would be really perfect. And then the third night was in the theater that he owned, downtown New Haven. That was in '87. I'm sure he doesn't have all that now. That's when he was still active in business,
Yeah.
in politics and all that stuff. But I don't know. I'm hoping by October, if everybody or people that are planning to get the COVID shot gets it, I'm thinking that, this will thing, be way, way down.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, me too.
We got the second shot a week ago.
Yeah, me too. Well, I got mine. Dot, when we get our second shot?
Monday will be 2 weeks ago.
It'll be 2 weeks Monday, this Monday coming up. So
All
then
right.
I'm supposed to be immune,
Yeah.
3-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Monday will be 2 weeks, so we'll be done.
Monday in 2 weeks, I'm supposed to be totally or 95% immune,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it too.
So if that's true, and they're saying the science is saying it's true, and if you get 3/4 of the population doing that, I mean, shit,
Yeah. Yeah, the people that don't have the shots, they're the ones that are going to get sick, not us. Hopefully.
Right.
But what else is going on? I know that New Orleans is opening up a little bit. I heard they're going to have live music playing.
Yeah, I saw that. I hadn't got any calls yet. I know Danny is working tomorrow night or tonight and tomorrow night. I know that 2 days. I haven't heard from Fritzels at all, but that don't mean they're not having music. That just means that they're not using me. Okay? You know?
So is Fritzl still around though?
Yeah, they're still there.
Okay, good.
And I haven't heard from Arno's, so it doesn't matter, to me. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to control it. That's my normal way, try to control it. But I'm just letting it happen. Whatever happens, happens. If it doesn't happen, that's okay too.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of at the age where if it doesn't happen, it's okay.
Right.
About you, Tom, have you heard of any prospects, any jobs?
I've got some work next week. One of them is a shoot at University of District of Columbia. And then I have 4 days of sitting in my basement at the computer like I'm doing with you guys. And a friend of mine is running this big medical convention because they can't have it in person. It's all virtual. So I just sit there for like 4 hours a day and just do these kind of Zooms and stick things in. And it'll be interesting. I don't know how it's going to work, but they're paying. So finally, I got some jobs that pay a little bit. That's good.
Yeah.
Luckily, Emily's still working. She had tried to retire, but then the CFO that they hired fell asleep during a Zoom with the board. So
Okay.
he got fired pretty quick. And
Oh, my God.
then they asked Emily if she would do it for a while. And she goes, well, it's COVID. So yeah, I might as well. So she's hanging on for a couple more months and then she'll be free. But the plan was I was going to work and she was going to retire. And then COVID sort of retired me for a long time. So, but now it's coming back a little bit, but I don't know, it's the motivation isn't quite there all the time to, do you need the money that bad? Well, it's nice to have it, but we'll see. So Mike Johnson sent some pictures from the 87 reunion. Let me see.
Look
So
at that.
is that Mike Gentry to the left?
Mike Gentry to the left, Mike Johnson in the middle, and Peter Babcock.
Yeah.
Wow. Just different enough to almost not be able to recognize.
Yeah,
him.
Mike, I wouldn't have recognized Mike. I guess because he doesn't have a beard or anything.
That's when the days when he was working at Disney and they didn't allow facial hair.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with Peter. He was at Disney. And so he's got clean shaven too.
It gives you a totally different look.
Yeah. Oh, look, the names were on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, I can bring him back.
So that was in the basement.
I believe that's from the 87 reunion. And
Right, that's what I was saying. Mike Johnson sent them, they were for the 87 reunion.
yeah.
And there's some more. So let's get that one down.
And that was at the Suncoast Festival.
No, that's
At the
up in
same
New Haven in 87.
Here comes one.
What the heck is that?
Well, is that Peter Babcock?
That's Peter Babcock.
Joel.
And I see Joel.
I see Gim to the left, cut off.
Right.
I think, is that John? The guy who doesn't show up, but
That might be John McLaren.
yeah, John McLaren. Hey, Snake, how you doing?
Okay, what's going on?
What'd you
Oh,
say,
Snake.
Snake?
I do.
Well, Mike sent us some pictures from the 87 reunion.
But I don't think this might be from the 87 reunion. It might be. It might be that first night.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike said it was.
Yeah.
So Snake, you doing good?
Yeah, I'm messing around with a little facial hair here.
Okay, good. You got your snow shovel ready?
We're supposed to get 2 feet.
I know.
Uh,
I laugh because I just got rid of, I got a snow blower up here and every year I buy some gas for it so I can put it in if I need it. But I just put it in the car last night because we're not going to need it.
Well, I've got to go gas mine up and I
Yeah.
can't do it. I got a friend that's gonna have to help me, but
Yeah. That's a lot of snow.
uh,
Maybe it'll miss you.
let's hope so.
Yeah. Barry never has that problem. He never gets snowed in.
Not too often.
Okay, and here's another good one. This is Kent and actually I wish this made me wish I would have been there. Big Bill Sawyer.
Yeah, remember I was telling you out by the sound?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where we were. It's Big Bill Sawyer, Mike Johnson. The guy all the way to the right, our right.
Bill.
Bill Higbee, Bill
Higbee.
Higbee, the left-handed banjo player.
And then Kent's to the left.
Kent all the way to the left.
Dorothy McLowe, or
I don't know her.
it's been cut off. I can't read it. 1987 reunion, but yeah, Mike Johnson's having a good time.
It was out by the sound. That was the second day when we went out there and they pitched those big, huge tents. And all was really nice out there. Had a bandstand set up with a sound system.
Hasn't
Pretty
Bill
good.
passed away?
Say what now?
Has Bill passed away?
Yeah, Bill passed away.
Yeah, I remember him being left-handed.
Oh, so Bill Sawyer passed away too.
Yeah, Bill Sawyer passed away a few years ago. And I think Bill Higbee just passed away.
That's what Snake was saying.
Yeah.
I'd have liked to have seen Bill Sawyer again. Too bad.
You couldn't miss him.
No, you couldn't miss him, but he was a nice guy.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
Well, he's one of those guys that had a lot of bullshit with him, but he was a nice guy anyway.
Yeah, deep down, he was a
He
nice
didn't
guy.
mean to be harmful with his line of bullshit. Yeah, I would say that as far as the amount of fun at all these reunions, that 87 reunion, I think I enjoyed the most. Now, I mean, Carnegie, that stands in itself because it was Carnegie in New York
Yeah.
City. But as far as the amount of fun, I think the 87 reunion was the best.
Well, Ken called me about that one, but I had a job. It was the first job I did for 60 Minutes and I just couldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry I missed it because it looked fun. There's some more of it.
Yeah, see the Big Tent?
Yeah.
Where was that held?
That was in New Haven, Connecticut. And that's Fred, what's his name? Fred Hendricks standing in the back with a Hawaiian shirt on and a baseball cap, talking to the guy in the t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's Mike Gentry and Mike Johnson sitting at the table and talking to them, standing up in another Hawaiian shirt. That's Peter Babcock.
Yep. And then it says Bob Kramer or to the left.
Oh yeah, I don't see. My eyes are not good enough. I can't even see I didn't even see that they had names at the bottom.
And then we got Mike Gentry in there
Right.
and Doug Frezan or
Crazy. Yeah.
Krezan.
Right. He was a waiter, I believe, from the Denver club.
I don't remember. I know, McBride was.
We
Yeah,
can't
Kent
wait.
and I came out, we worked out there for a week or so. We were out there staying with Mike Johnson once.
Uh-huh.
I would say that the reunion where I had the second most fun, it was up there. And Snake, you were there. It was in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. When we were the warm-up band for the Kingston Trio at this big college auditorium.
The Rose College.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay.
And who do we have on here? We got a newcomer on here.
You have Mark Heater.
Well, hey, Mark,
Mark.
Barry Foulon.
Hi, Barry. How you been?
Tom
How you
Wolf.
doing?
Right?
It's been a long time.
Well, yeah.
Well, look, since you're the new guy on Zoom, why don't you tell these guys who you are, man? And what we've been doing is where you started, and what club you started in, what clubs you played in, and what year, and stuff like that.
Started in Point Pleasant, 68. Then New York for many years. I did the Sullivan Show, and I came down and played Carnival one year in New Orleans.
What years you come from Mardi Gras?
I have to think. I'm going to say 71.
no.
What was the year
71?
the Orange Julius burned down?
Well, gee, I remember that.
That was it.
You know what, Mark? I've heard your name for years. I don't think I've ever worked with you.
Nope.
Isn't that something? I mean,
I had come and gone before you came on, I think.
well, yeah, I started playing in 72 and played to 76, the beginning of 76. But a lot of guys that I've worked with, you worked with, because they've all they've all mentioned your name,
Uh-oh. Yeah, no, well, half of
Hey, Doug.
that's not true,
Hey, Mike Johnson.
Hey, Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson.
Howdy, y'all. Happy Friday.
I was just showing your pictures to everybody before you got here.
Well, Mark, we've been doing this Zoom thing almost for the whole COVID period every Friday, and we show a lot of pictures. Tom puts up some pictures, and your pictures come up numerous times.
Yeah, I sent in I emailed him a bunch of stuff I had here. Not much. I'm surprised how little I actually have, but
Hey,
is that
Peter.
Pete Brianidis? Yes, it is.
Hey,
Hi, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Oh, Pete.
how's everyone?
Good.
Hey, Peter.
Doing okay.
Barry, I have a question for you.
Okay, I don't know if I have an answer. Go
What
ahead.
was the song, or every song that was written except one? What was the name of the tune that we would do? And we would break in the middle of the song and say, baby, cut your toenails, you're ripping the sheets.
Um,
You remember doing that?
yeah,
We'd all,
that was,
baby, cut your toenails, you're ripping the sheets.
that's when we play South.
Good for you.
The break on South, in the chorus of South,
Yeah.
they have a break there. That's when we'd say that. In fact, all the waiters are the ones that started that. Baby, cut your toenails, you're ripping the sheets,
Yeah, Cliff Lehman used to put that in the middle of his drum tags once in a while.
Right, I think.
Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. I
Looks
woke
like
up
we're
on-
getting, huh?
I woke up on the right side of the grass, so I'm doing well.
Good. Yeah, well, yeah, looks like we get to keep our pension. Yay.
Hey,
Yeah, oh, man.
all of it. I feel sorry for the guys that are younger that are gonna take a cut.
Yep. Uh,
So were you guys in line to lose the pension?
we're gonna take a 40% haircut as of January 1 next year.
Oh, man. Because they were talking on the radio today.
It's a reflection of a bunch of problems. I mean, I went to work for the AFM. I worked for 3 international presidents. And I negotiated about 150 contracts that I really believed in getting that pension for people. Because a lot of guys, when they couldn't work anymore, they didn't have anything else.
Right.
And it was a good pension. 2008 really kicked the hell out of them. They made some bad investments, but the problem is it's a reflection of the business. The business
Yeah.
is not good. It's almost gone, I stay active. I mean, I still conduct my band during the summer.
Hey, Billy.
Hello, gang.
Hello, Bill.
I found out a long time ago that a baton plays in all keys.
Yes, that's right.
It's a lot easier. You can screw the time up like hell with it, but other than that, it's a lot. You have to practice too much.
Billy, this is Mark Heater. It was his first time, but he sent us a bunch of pictures before.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you, Mark.
I came in on the tail end when a lot of the guys who were originals in New York were still coming around the club. And that would be, I broke in with Ron Bizel, who was the all-time best tune caller I ever worked for.
A lot of people say that.
Yep. No, he could read an audience like nobody I ever saw. Now, I got to tell you, he was tough on horns because he just went where it went. And he never turned around and gave you a key. You got to pay attention. But by God, he could get that crowd up anytime he wanted to.
And you worked with him in the New York club, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, and Johnny Ford, he
Right.
was in New York at the time. And Gim Burton, of course.
Jim's usually on with us here.
Yeah, well, Gim was one of the original, he was the original employee.
Wow.
He was the one that figured out the cash flow from the Cape Cod Club, upon which they opened all the other clubs.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, Gim figured out all that stuff, the weighing of the booze, he had picked up that in the Army. But, but yeah, Gim was the guy that
Here
figured
he
out
is.
an awful lot. Hey, Gimbo, hey.
The devil.
Jim, Mark is talking about you right now. Say hello to Mark Heater.
Hello,
Mark,
Gim.
Marky, how are you?
I'm well. I function. I'm busy as hell. Not making any money, but I'm busy as hell. No, I was just saying. You were the original employee. You were the guy that figured out the the cash flow system to open the clubs.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean,
We
that's
had-
one of the reasons they were there. But
It was an interesting part of my career, I'll tell you.
yes, I know.
You were being.
Well, then there's the IBM part. I know.
Yeah, I mean, I worked 40 years for IBM, but 65 years in music, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He just said you came up with the weighing of the bottles. Is that true?
Yep. Yep.
You got a bunch of bartenders and former managers that are pissed off at you right now, Gim.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, I was an IT director and we were all IBM.
Oh, yeah. Good for you. Good for you. Keep them dividends coming.
The funny thing is those scales we used to use weren't that accurate in the first place.
Really?
No, they weren't. And a fast pour would defeat the whole system.
Right.
I don't think they've ever invented a system a bartender couldn't steal from.
That is absolutely true. One of the things that was written- one of the
We weren't
things
stealing. We were just giving girls drinks. So,
Well, yeah.
so the poor guys who were buying drinks, they were getting screwed late on a Saturday night, and they probably got a quarter of a shot, and the girls got a bunch.
Had to average it out somehow.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
Well, Chris,
Hey, Chris.
Fenimore.
Chris,
How
you
you
know
doing,
Mark
guys?
Heater? Say hello to
Hey,
Mark.
Chris.
Mark Teeter. Oh my God.
No, it's Mark Heater.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll be right back.
Did you get Mark for me?
Another thing that was doing was the guy at the door taking the entrance fee. he'd ring it up a few times and sometimes he wouldn't ring it up at all.
Oh, there was a lot of all that went on, but, you know, that's kind of, in the equation, you know?
Yeah. Well, at least to keep a per capita stat also, and that way, like if the doorman took all the money and it said, geez, the 3 people there that showed up the other night spent $800 each.
Right, right.
Well, in
Yeah,
New Orleans, they had it figured out that you'd spend $2.50, you spend $1 to get in and $2.50 for liquor on average.
Yeah.
So in the end of the night, if there wasn't enough money at the door, they know you were stealing. But
Did anybody else remember working the sandwich board? I don't guess y'all did that in New York or Boston or whatever, but in New York, in New Orleans, we used to go down on Bourbon Street. They would allow a waiter to get out there with a sandwich board, inviting people to your father's mustache and give out little passes that like had a little code on them, and that all the people that came in with your pass that you gave out, you got a few cents, not much, but. So it was just try to get people in the door sometimes, you know. It's not a very fun job, but
A little incentive system there, that's all right.
yeah.
the last waiter.
The last waiter got that wonderful job.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Johnson had shared some pictures with it, so I'm gonna give you a good one of the '87 reunion.
Cool.
How about that?
that's Peter Babcock.
Some Hall of Famers in there, all right.
See
Yeah.
Peter Babcock, it looks like little Ira Gutman.
Yeah, it's Ira
That's
Gutman
right.
and Ronnie Sater.
That's right, yep.
Mike,
That's Gunny, isn't it?
Yeah,
Danny
that's-
Sullivan and Joan Dragon.
And Joan, yeah.
Danny Sullivan.
Yeah, that's Gunny.
Gunny
Mike's
is-
notes say Joan Dragon, Danny Sullivan, Joel Schiavone, Peter Babcock, Ron
Right.
Sagder,
Ira Gutman and then Ron Sater and then me.
Ron Sater, Mike Johnson, and I didn't see Peter Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
he's right behind Joel.
Yeah, I see him.
Who's behind Joan? I can't,
I don't know who that is.
okay.
look how big little Ira was. Jeez. Man. He looked like he was healthy back then.
That wasn't the '87 reunion, Tom.
No, it wasn't. That was,
That was
the,
one of the Connecticut Jazz Festival.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, 2002,
Yeah.
Jacob. Sorry.
that's when we were having the festival in Guilford at the tent,
Yeah.
under tents, right?
Right.
Hey,
Howdy, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
hello there, how you doing?
Oh, Mike Gentry.
Mike, say
yeah.
hello to Mark Heater. He's on for the first time.
Hey,
Hello,
Mike,
Mark.
good
to see you, man.
to see you. There's life after the Empress Lily.
Definitely.
So Joan just sent a message that she's busy. She's frosting cakes. It's a busy day at the cafe. But she's also said that John McLaren might be coming to Florida this spring to get his daughter set. Because she's working down by Disney,
Universal.
something like that.
She's working at Universal. That's like
Oh.
a quarter of a mile from here.
Hey, Tom, now would be a good time to put that email on from Joel again.
Yes, sir.
Throw that out.
It's coming.
I responded to Joel's to that email, and he wrote back and responded to me. So he's out there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what he wrote today. He wrote 2 days ago.
same here, Chris. Well, I already responded. I told him I'll definitely be there, and hopefully you guys will do the same thing, so we could have a reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen, I've gotten copies of all of your guys' notes, and Joel has taken the yoke here and is steering the ship. And we're gonna have, where he and Marty and I, and we're gonna have a meeting tomorrow, I think. It'll be this weekend sometime to start plotting out the course of action from here on out. But he's hell bent for this thing. He wants to do it. So when Joel
Great.
wants to,
That's
when
great.
Joel, when Joel wants to do something, it tends to happen, you know?
I'll be
And
there.
Be there. I talked to Danny Rubio a little while ago. He said he's definitely wants to be there. So I know that
Great.
two of us are down here and a lot of us on this Zoom call probably will go.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. How, some of the agenda he wants to do is something pretty much like the one we had planned for this year. And that is to say, you know, a pretty active agenda. He wants to play 3 or 4 concerts. And you know, and I said, I'm thinking to myself, I says, a lot of us are another year older and we ain't quite as vigorous as we were 10, 15 years ago. So I'm just wondering if he's planning too much. Would you guys support a really active agenda where we just play our asses off? And, or would you like to put more time in there for socializing?
Yeah,
He's the latter.
me too.
Yeah.
Me
Now, that
too.
was my thought, you know. I can't play a 3-hour gig anymore. I get too tired.
Yeah.
And the latter, because remember the last one, we went down to Punta Gorda. I don't think you were there in Punta
No,
Gorda.
it's true. I was busy.
But
Like
those of us
Neil
that were there,
DeFeo.
it was tough because we played so much. You remember that, Mike?
Yep.
I mean, we played the Friday night, Saturday in the daytime, and Saturday night concert. You know, all of them. You know, like hour
And
concert.
Joel wanted to do all hour concerts where everybody else is doing 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it got tough. It really did. You know, because we're older. Shit. You know, back when we were in our 20s, that didn't make a difference at all.
Not
Reason
at
it
Now,
was tough, reason it was tough, Barry, is we were drinking too much at night.
yeah.
It won't affect Billy and I at all.
I
No.
want to shoot the shit with Chris or Mike, you know.
I really kind of enjoyed the informal gatherings. Like
Yeah.
I didn't go to the other reunions, but I did the one at Carnegie. And like when I walked into the bar, anybody at the mustache that had an instrument that felt like playing could play, you know, and I like that. It was a lot of fun, you know.
It was very, very laid back there. I like Carnegie. I like
Yeah.
the one at Oklahoma City.
That
also.
way, if you wanted to play,
Yeah,
you
these were
could.
good.
And if you didn't, you could take a break, you know.
Well, Carnegie was great because it was Carnegie.
Yeah,
Right.
Oklahoma City was really good. It
Yep.
was really good,
Yep,
but I
yep.
think that
What's
What?
happening?
I think Barry froze up on us.
We have a freeze.
Say it again, Barry.
you
Did
know,
did everybody see the note from Joel?
Yeah.
Okay. Indoor, New Haven, fawning crowds.
sounds good to me.
I guess it's better than crowding fawns.
Yeah, the thought, one of the thoughts I had is that how are you going to round up an audience of the over 70s? Because let's face it, our audience is well up there now. I mean, there's nobody going to be there under 60. Let's put it that way.
Nobody under 60, they haven't heard of us.
Right. I mean, you know, does anybody under 60 know the words to Bye Bye Blackbird? I mean, it's you know, this sing along business ain't going to sell a whole lot in the younger crowd.
No,
Well, let me ask you this, Gim, is he trying to make money off of this or?
Break even. Break even.
Make even?
I mean, in most of our reunions, not Suncoast and Oklahoma City, but the other ones, I mean, we played for each other's wives and stuff. In other words, the families came. That was the audience,
Sure.
Yeah.
you know, relatives of the musicians. And shit, I mean, it really didn't matter how big the audience was, you know. You know?
Well, to give you
Yeah,
some
they'll
some
be,
inspiration,
you know, these will be paid venues. I mean, it'll be a concert for and charge admission to the audience.
Oh, I see.
Well, that's why I don't want to do too many of them, because I don't think we're going to be able to pull together too many folks.
I don't know who's gonna pay to come here. A bunch of old guys wearing striped vests playing Bye Bye Blackbird.
Type of dress that don't fit.
I don't dare try those white pants, man. I'll tell you, they're going to be that's going to be a tight fit.
Guess
You
what?
think?
Just get
Carnegie,
your white yoga pants.
Got a weight
Carnegie
problem.
was
in
10
any-
years ago.
Got a weight
Yeah.
problem. Got a weight problem in any case, and you know, the pandemic hasn't made it any better.
When Carnegie was 10 years ago, that's the last time I wore white pants, and I'm sure I can't fit in them now. 10 years
Yeah.
ago?
It was
You
10
wear
years
them in
ago.
Oklahoma,
Right.
Barry?
You're in Oklahoma, Jerry.
I guess I did. I guess I had the same pants. I'm sure they were tight.
You know,
Yeah, Oklahoma and Suncoast.
Well, we'll go buy
Mikey's up.
white pants. At the New Orleans club, they couldn't find the white pants, so we go to the painter's store and buy painter's pants. You remember that, Peter?
oh yes,
Yeah,
oh yes,
Painter's
oh
pants.
yes.
No, I had to
Go to
go
Omar
to,
to tent maker and
I
get
had
them.
to go to a nurse's uniform shop.
Nurses uniforms.
Yeah, to get white pants.
Navy uniform.
I got white Levi's, too, Levi.
So Mike, I was questioning this picture if it was really you. Without a beard, you look totally different.
Yeah. Young and tender, man. That's me.
You look
And Mike
gay
can
in that
see it.
picture,
Peter
Mike.
B.
I always
What's
thought
that?
you were gay.
Yeah.
Was that the Disney years or something?
This
That
was, yes,
87
this is the-
reunion.
This is the 87 one up in New Haven.
Yeah,
God, Mike Johnson had hair.
yeah, how about that? Peter
Goodness.
Babcock, look at Peter Babcock with that dark hair.
And no mustache. He worked for
Yeah.
Disney also. Yeah.
That's That's Peter Babcock. My
Yep.
God, I never
Yep.
I'd never guessed that.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but I finally found the recording of the 87 reunion.
Yeah, I
Of-
saw that.
And let me
And I
tell you what,
put it up on YouTube.
I watched the whole thing 2 nights ago. It was great. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Chris.
thanks for that, Chris. I shared that to a bunch of people that have watched it.
I have your, Barry, I have your copy in here.
Good. But all of you should go, and it's about an hour long. It's a wonderful DVD, or you can get on, it's on YouTube, right? Or
Yeah.
Go to Chris's website, Your Father's Mustache. If not his website, what do you call it? Facebook page.
Yeah.
And what's the title of it? It's 1987 Reunion? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
what it is on Facebook, on YouTube too, Barry.
Yeah, 1987, Your Father's Mustache 1987 Reunion.
Yeah,
Encourage you all to go look at that. That's a really good one.
it is.
It's excellent. A great history, and it had some good coverage in New Orleans in it too. I remember.
107.
That's the one where Joel went through the whole evolution of the club with pictures of Boston when it started. We were seeing Gim
Yeah.
back then when he was young, and Debonair, and New Orleans on its first night, and New York on its first night. So that was pretty good footage that they had there.
Yeah.
It was, that was 34 years ago.
Oh, thanks.
34.
You trying to cheer me up?
Yeah. man. Oh, boy. So how's the weather there? Down here in Arkansas, it's cloudy and rainy, and it's miserable outside.
Oh no, it's gorgeous here. It's like 76, clear.
Yeah, it's
Sunny.
nice.
And
Mike,
we're getting ready for 2 to 3 feet of snow in the next 2 days in Denver.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus. We just got rid of our snow. I mean, we had, last week when we talked, I had 1.5 feet of snow in the yard, and it's melted right nice and slowly over the week. And we've had 50, 60 degree weather in the last couple of days. So it's melting slowly because it melts fast. I mean, we flood. So it was nice. It's been nice. Sun is shining brightly. It finally got good weather.
And I'm down here on the Jersey Shore and it's 60 today.
Lovely.
But we're gonna get more, there's a possibility of snow, I think, early Tuesday morning.
Oh,
Something's
thanks.
going through. Yeah, I live down by Sandy Hook, yeah.
Do you really? Oh, how nice. That's
That
great
little
place.
town called Highlands, yeah. I just got demoted to president of the school board.
Oh.
So, my life is a series of WebEx and Zoom meetings.
Oh, yes.
You
Oh,
know, they all look like the Brady Bunch, you know, it's like, but it's miserable trying to do that. But I mean, you know, yeah, no, it does keep me really busy. I couldn't believe how much, you know, they always lie to you. Well, there's only a couple of meetings a month. Bullshit.
I gotta show you something I found.
Oh, there we are.
Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Hey, most of us are still around.
I don't remember this gig. Oh, well.
I don't either. And I was sober. It's just too many of them.
Yeah.
That's your problem, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
Mark
Well, I
was
was had a
always,
long drive, you know.
Mark was always the responsible one. He would drive and the rest of us would get wasted. It was nice.
Yeah, I was the guy who'd get up in the morning and throw on a coat and tie and go deal with the bookers too.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, that was my stock and trade.
Hey, Ira.
Hey, Ira.
Oh, Ira,
Hey guys, how is everybody?
Ira, you know Mark Heater?
Yeah,
Oh, Ira.
Okay, it's his first time on.
where is Mark? Oh, there he is. How you doing, Mark?
I live.
Gotta make this bigger.
I
How are
was
you, Mark?
doing okay. Doing okay.
Good. You still in Jersey?
Yep.
Where?
I live in Highlands down by Sandy Hook.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Nice down there.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, I kind of went legit a few years ago when I moved back up to New Jersey from Orlando.
Mhm.
Friend of mine who was a contractor, they put together an symphony orchestra in
Wow.
Edison, New Jersey. I think we were funded by the mob, actually, but I'm not kidding. I mean, you know, Ray Katina, you know, but you know, it's like, and I said, a symphony orchestra? I mean, you know about the elephants and the banjos, don't you? You know, I mean, that's what I've really been doing. And so, you know, for 10, 12 years, I was a symphony tuba player.
good for you.
Set a record, Mark.
Well,
You're
you
the only
know,
person in the world who moved from Florida into New Jersey.
yeah, I'm one of the few people that ever came back not in a box. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, Ira, it's money talks, bullshit walks.
that's it.
Wow. Wow.
That's still my memo or my motto. But
Mm.
yeah, you know, I ended up working for the College Teachers Union during the day for the last 10 years. And it was a pretty good gig. Pretty good gig.
Do you
Although
ever get to see McClernand or Franny Smith?
I'm in touch with John McClernand and Franny, but you know, they're down Philadelphia way. And I don't get down there, you know.
Oh,
My
I thought they were in New
contact was-
Jersey.
Well, I write a lot of arrangements for concert band
Right.
and I give them away because the stuff I do, you know, like old ragtime things and, you know, resurrect old pieces of music so you can play them with a modern band. And I have them up on a site called Muse Score, and which is international, and another one in Ohio, where you know I'm one of many people that have contributed to this, because there are a lot of these community concert bands around the country, and you know the price of buying sheet music today is obscene. You know, the old $2 Quick Step March is now $50, $75.
Wow.
Last 2 minutes, you know. But yeah, no, I just found out recently I'm a hit in Tel Aviv. You know, I couldn't believe it.
I saw that. I saw that. It was a lovely thing. It was really nice.
I'm so it's so sweet. You know, I wrote an arrangement, a modern concert band arrangement of the overture to the Pirates of Penzance. And we had played it, you know, I write for my own band. I do concerts every summer. And so I put this thing up there and didn't think about it and never heard anything. The next thing I know, hey, you know, you're on YouTube. What? You know, and,
Yeah.
and it's the Tel Aviv Wind Band, and they're a very good concert band. And they were nice enough to give me a little credit line on it. But you know, I mean, I put a lot of stuff up there. And I mean, I put up stuff because a lot of the old timers gave me some of this stuff. I inherited a lot of Joe Tardo's stuff. And yeah, Chris is nodding, you know, he knows, you know. And a lot of those things were in manuscript. They never got published. They were done for things like the Paul Laval Band of America, you know, for broadcast, and they never got published. And they're absolutely worth playing, especially for a band that does concerts in the park and that sort of thing. So, you know, I do all this stuff on computer now. I put them up there, and people are sharing them all over the world now, which is very gratifying.
That's
You said
great.
it's the music for the old,
Forward,
you
you
said
know.
it's the music for the old timers. Where does that leave us?
Well, that's true. Well, you know, the funny thing about that concert band repertoire is that, I mean, I now have several of the children of some of my old time band members who have been with me for some of them 40 years. I've got them in the band. But the thing that's interesting is to see another generation of young musicians discover that music for themselves.
That's interesting.
And it's true with the hot jazz repertoire too. But I don't know about Heart of My Heart followed by The Bells Are Ringing for Me and My Gal. You know, I tried it with the concert band on one concert, and thank God we had a vocalist because it died agonizing death out there. It laid like a big dead fish, you know, it like did not go.
Everybody
And
sing
you would
along.
think, but you know, and you know it's really amazing, but you know, I get stuck with a July 4th thing every year because it's that kind of a band, Susan and all that. And I have this killer patriotic medley, which sounds remotely like the Mustache Band. I mean, we go from one thing to another. And if I didn't have a vocalist, I don't know how many people in the audience would know the words to those tunes anymore. You know,
Mark, do you have any issues with public domain or copyright?
no, because I'm not selling it.
So Mark,
And the
Mike-
stuff I put up on the web is PD, it's
All right.
public domain. But as far as the concerts, you know, that's taken care of. We're in the band I do, we're technically park employees for the summer. And, you know, everybody has to fill out forms and stuff, but we're on payroll. And the county parks department puts the concert on. So they deal with ASCAP and BMI. I have nothing, we just play the right notes, I hope, you know. But I mean, you know, I was surprised. I mean, it's, you know, you pull out stuff that you'd think, you know, people would know, give my regards to Broadway and all that's still on TV. Nope. They applaud nicely at the end, but they don't sing along.
Mike Gentry and I will play in these shows on the riverboats on the Mississippi
I just
River.
don't say that.
And we did a 1 hour totally mustache show. And I've said this on the Zoom, but I'm saying it for you, Mark. The average audience is, I would say, 82, 83 years old.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Cruise ship.
Right, Mike? And guess what? They sing every song. We did a totally mustache show. I mean, for me and my gal and Heart of My Heart. And
Bye bye Blackbird, you
they
know.
sang every
Oh.
song.
Yeah, Mike Swan works retirement communities out in California, just as a single by himself, you know, and
Yeah.
they know all those tunes. Yeah. But
Yeah.
but I mean, my audience is in a park, young people that are
They're not
riding
gonna
bikes
know.
and stuff.
You're right. They're not gonna know.
No, and you know, I have to keep, you know, I mean, it's a different concert type formula because I have to keep changing up styles, otherwise they get on their bikes and pedal away. You know, they do not have a long attention span. You know, it's one thing then another. I don't do you know, 12-minute overtures. I'd lose. I'd turn around and see nobody there. You know, it's you know, move it along. But you know, I keep myself, active in that, but you know, ain't a lot of tuba gigs around these days.
No shit.
You know, Joel said that the mustaches still work in New Orleans. Remember
Yeah.
that, Barry?
I think
I know, I see the
If
YouTube.
he had a club on Bourbon Street right now, it'd be going good.
It might be because Pat O'Brien still works and that's a sing-along deal.
Those are, this is still there. Good for him. Good for them.
Yeah, that still works, but I tell you, Mark, I work on Bourbon Street, 6 nights a week when it's not COVID time. And I don't think
Yeah.
we get away with doing mustache stuff these days. It's a jazz thing. We're playing some of the same songs.
Sure.
A jazz band, drums and a couple of horns and stuff like that. It's a whole different feel, a whole different sound. Same songs.
Well, yeah, but New Orleans was always a good horn town
Right.
to begin with, yeah, it's, I mean, like in Wildwood, I don't know any Red Garter people here tonight, but
I'm a Red Garter. Peter
Me
Ray,
too.
Peter.
yeah, well, where the Red Garter stands, there's condos there now, and that's
Right.
what's happened to all those clubs.
And we'll see
Well,
areas.
New Jersey. Well, I mean, there was a nightclub on every corner. You could walk
Right.
down the street and you couldn't do business down there if you didn't have a show of some type.
Right.
Every little club, all the little clubs, the property was worth more as a condominium. And that's what's there now. And
Isn't that a
it's real
shame?
quiet.
Yeah, I spent 6 years leading the summer band there. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
well, I came in with, Ronnie Bill and I held fourth in there.
Right. I was there opposite Ronnie Bill for a couple of years.
And before that, Les Muscat.
Les Muscat, I was opposite him.
Yep.
You remember they had 2 bands,
Oh, yeah.
2 bands a night. Can you
The only
guys-
club owner I ever knew. Yeah, did
2
that.
bands, it's a Red Garter, but 2 bands a night. You'd play an hour on and an hour off. And you played 3 sets, so there was 6 hours of music.
Well,
But they try and turn that room twice a night, and it held 750 people.
well, Jimmy Kane, 71 was a terrible year in Wildwood. It was a recession, I believe. And a lot of people cut back, and he took a different tack on it. He said, he said to himself, I'm gonna give the audience more, and that's how we're gonna bring people in. So it was in 72, I believe, maybe it was 73, but I think
There
72.
you go, Mark.
Yeah, those
There's
were the
Mark.
days.
Probably 25 years old.
Yeah, that's actually right. But he
Like
added
James
2
Defenders
bands,
on.
two singers, and he brought Steve Lawler in.
Right.
To the,
Milky.
the afternoon.
Oh, Steve Milky Lawler.
Milky.
Milky
That was his
Law.
nickname, right? Milky.
Yeah, Milky.
Yes, well, his mother's milk looked an awful lot like scotch.
And Mike Gallo singing Al Jolson.
Greasy red ass.
No, you know what his trick was? You guys that never worked this place, he had a great gimmick. He had taken the Harry Lorraine memory course. So if you came in, he asked your name and where you were from. And he had the memory hook trick so that whenever he saw it, he was good at face recognition. That's real important. So the next time that person came in, and it'd be like vacation the next year, and he goes, "Hey, Kathy, how are things in Hammondsport?" Oh man, he remembers us, and here comes
That's
the
right.
catch.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
about that.
and he did it all. I mean, 4-6 hours a day, and he was absolutely couldn't play the piano worth a goddamn. I mean, it's like he had mittens on. It didn't matter.
He was a funny guy. He was
He
really
has
a
to
funny
turn-
guy.
Oh yeah, and and he, and when he wasn't playing the piano, he'd walk around that bar, and anybody he hadn't met before, he'd do the same thing. It's very, Jimmy cut him in on a percentage basis because he was worth it. And then we had on the crest of that at 7:30, the first band went on, but it was nonstop. we would take both bands off because we couldn't get a turnover.
Yep.
That was the only time I ever remember. And at the height of the Philadelphia Flyers, we couldn't get them to leave one night. So Jimmy went around to the bartenders and said, tell at least a couple of people at the bar that Dave Schultz is down at Harry the Hat's. Dave Schultz was the guy that started all the fights on the Philadelphia Flyers. They loved him. The place emptied out, and Harry the Hat had the best business he ever had. No Dave Schultz. It was a disappointment there. But that's what we had to do to clear out the place. I never stopped laughing at that. It was great.
Mark, did you back up Mike Gallo?
Oh, not only there, but he and Ronnie Bill and I and Freddie Stoll, was my drummer back in that time, and Dennis Drury, we would play these buckets of blood, you know, during the winter that Mike had booked up in the Bronx. I remember Poe's Cozy Nook. Oh my God, what a place. And they loved him. But I mean, you know, when he wasn't working the Garter, he would literally haul a black light around and do his act. You know.
He was great. Those people loved him.
Well, he charged, yeah. Well, you know, he just charged up on the stage, you know.
Ira, you remember him, Mike Gallo?
Yep.
Or Al Jolson.
What
Yeah,
about Bobby
He
Stewart?
always did this, Mammy.
yeah.
Yeah, he was good. When he
Anybody
died 10
remember,
years ago, I think, 10, 12 years ago.
Yes, he
Anybody-
passed away. Yeah.
anybody remember Bobby Stewart, banjo player?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Boy, I got a call from, I think it was Smith Street, saying, pick him up at the entrance to the George Washington Bridge. And his gig was in someplace in Jersey, and he'd done it many times. And so he's there waiting for me. I pick him up. After we said hello, I said, well, so how do we get to you? He says, I don't know. I don't drive. I go, oh, shit. I finally found a place, and we're sitting on a piano bench side by side to entertain these folks. What a disaster that place was.
A lot of water under the bridge. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was, I get calls every once in a while because I toured with Paul Laval in the Band of America, and people, you know, it's like, you know, they're always trying to dig up old time band history and stuff. And nobody, you know, I mean, he's been gone a long time, and everyone would want to know what it was like working with him and that kind of thing. And then I pulled out one of the programs, and I had filed it away that Dan McCall was our banjo soloist on that.
Banjo Dan McCall.
Banjo
Dan
Dan.
McCall, yeah.
Banjo Dan.
God.
Ooh, you know.
You know, we're gonna play Stump the Band, and he would start something in the key, and we go, what the fuck's going on here? And he would play, he knew the verse.
Right down the block from the New York Mustache on Bleecker and Grove.
That's where Dan lived.
I lived on Grove Street.
Well, you remember Ira, when Joe Terra got rid of him one night? He was an obnoxious guy, but I mean, he used to like to hang out at this bar called George Hertz, which was a longshoreman.
Oh, sure. George Hertz was across the street.
Yeah. Well, the thing was,
We used to shoot, me and Joe used to shoot pool there a lot.
well, the thing was though, they put it out because the business went bad. They put it out that they were, quote, going gay on a date
Right.
certain. And somehow McCall had missed this. So Tara says, hey, buddy boy, you know, it's just they were asking for you over at George Hertz. You know, you should be over the door. They want to see you, you know.
I think, Mark, that became Boots and Saddle.
So off McCall went. We have did find out how that went, you know. But
It became Boots and Saddle. Wow. Yeah, Banjo Dan.
He used to have a big collection of old time sheet music, man.
oh no,
He knew the verse to every tune.
no, his knowledge was encyclopedic.
Right.
You know, the problem was, if you booked him on the gig, well, it was, he was kind of clunky. But yeah, no, he was the tenor banjo soloist. And I found out, I mean, he came up with it. We toured with a pianist on that band. We did the Rhapsody in Blue every night. And he held his own. I mean, reading the stuff and all of that, But, oh God, afterwards at the bar, you just,
Yeah, I did a show band tour with him in South Carolina, one of those beach towns.
Oh, yeah.
It was rugged.
Yeah, well.
He didn't play in New York that much.
Even
Oh, no, well, he,
from the club.
yeah, well,
What there?
He lived a couple of blocks from the club too.
he lived
But
on
he
Grove
didn't play,
Street.
he wasn't there that much playing.
No.
No,
Oh.
He
Mark,
didn't,
when-
he didn't, he didn't
What was
play
your
the,
first
he
year in
didn't
the
play-
Red Carter?
He didn't play with us very much. He played at the joint uptown. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was on Second Avenue, 80s, in the 80s somewhere. It was the I forget the name of it. Anyway,
Bill's
he-
Gay 90s.
No,
No, it
that was on
wasn't- it wasn't-
57th Street.
That was on 57th on the east side, on the west side rather.
I
This is
didn't
the,
know those places.
this is the place that he drank himself silly. And then John Martin left the Garter, left us and went up there to play. And he played up there with a piano player. I'm trying to remember his Alan something. It was just the three of them, just the two of them. And he did quite well, but Banjo Dan wasn't long for the world up there. He was pretty much anesthetized most of his time.
Yep. Tours and soda.
Yeah.
Mark,
boy.
what year did you start at the Red Garter?
I subbed for McClernon in 73, 74 because he had high school band camp. And then 75, I had purchased an old house in Glen Ridge that needed everything. And so I went down to see Jimmy and signed on, and I was the other tuba player,
Mhm.
75, right?
and yeah, in 75, and Ronnie Bill was the band leader.
See, I did
And we got
76.
along fine.
I
The
did
next year,
76
76, was when
81.
Joe Terra came.
When I led the band, 76 to 81.
Right.
Yeah. Well, see, by that time, I got off the Laval tour at the end of February in 76, actually in the middle of March. And then Sam Palafian had gotten himself hired on the Ringling Band and quit the job to take a Broadway show. And back then there were two tuba players in the band. The other one was Tony Price.
Oh, I
And
remember
I got
Tony.
a last minute call to come in and play the Ringling Circus. And, working for Paul Laval was actually harder than working on the circus. So I came in loaded for bear and just, played the thing. And after I got on the circus band, I was doing the Asbury Park Concert Band, which was legit stuff, and my own gigs around New York. So that was it for the Carter for me. I think maybe I went down to cover for John, for a couple of days, that year after. I don't really remember, it's like, but it was a total relocation. That was the problem with that job. Nobody lived near it.
Were you there when Ruth Cruz was there?
Sure. Originally, yeah, in Milton, sure, yeah. And then I ran into them again. I ran into them when we got off the bus in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh.
And we stopped where we were staying was very close to that club that they were working there.
Rosie O'Grady's.
The Rosie, yeah, Bob, what's
Bob
his
Snow.
name? Yeah, Bob Snow. And I got off the bus and I'm like, Milton Trout? What? I had no idea, So that was kind of funny. But then they ended up in Orlando till I guess they closed the place.
So, Mark, was Dave Gannett playing too with the circus?
Not when I was there. He came in later and toured. He mostly played Fender in those days. He was on the Red Show. I was on remember there were two circuses.
Right, blue and red.
I did mostly blue.
Didn't he work in Boston with you, Gannett?
He came in a little bit after I left. Yeah, but I knew him from his days in with the Yoakum and the Black Dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he came back to Orlando, I'd been down there a year in '85. He came back to Orlando, I'm gonna say early '86. And you know, he wasn't working much. So I had a little 10-piece brass band that I was running. And I hired him for a couple of gigs and played great.
You know, Mark, I used Gannett over at Florida Festival, which is no longer there. Peter was there for Florida Festival. Remember that, Pete?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the thing near SeaWorld? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right across the street from SeaWorld. And
Yeah.
I used Gannett in 77, 78, something like that. Yeah, right after he got into town. Because he and Peter were the two tuba players, and Ben Smith and H. Johnson and Peter Babcock. So that was an easy strolling
Yeah.
mustache type gig. Paid great, steady.
Mike,
Yeah.
I still have some of the promo shots that you did of the trio.
You and me and H and Babcock.
They put y'all's picture for a promo sheet? Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a risky proposition, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, Lord.
So when I hired on with Disney, I had my interview with Ronnie Rodriguez.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what have you been doing? Well, this, that, and I said, and then offhandedly, I said, in October, I do the Oktoberfest stuff. That was it. I became a German, I went to work at Epcot, it was 5 days a week, playing the Alpine horn on the side. Ugh. But I liked working the Germany pavilion because unlike the Magic Kingdom, it was so hard for the suits to come out and bother us. They left us alone. So it was great, and there was, believe it or not, plenty of polka work on the side,
So were you there at Disney the same time Mike and Peter were there?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, Mike, you were over at the Empress Lily. I came in after your bass player left. Remember I
Okay,
sat in for a while? Yeah.
Tom Bucci or Tom Bucci left?
No,
Mop-
The three
or
you
Mopsy.
guys- the three you
Mopsy.
guys did Disney at the same time.
I was there
Oh,
from
yeah.
79 to 94.
yeah, you were, well, you
I was there from 74 until 88. And I left about 6 months in the middle of that because my head was fucked up. And I came back and went with the Banjo Kings with you and George Palmer was playing trombone, Peter,
Tim Shea,
Timmy Shea, and
Greg Barley, Anthony.
Anthony Dixon.
Anthony Dixon, yeah. Yeah. No,
I stayed there for a while. Then I went to Pioneer. Then I went to the Empress Village.
yeah. No, I subbed with everybody on the property except the Bugle Corps and the Future World Brass. I was I was in the fake Canadian brass one day, the German pavilion another, the World Band the day after that. I've subbed for Pete a bunch on the Banjo Kings.
Yeah.
The only guy that lasted there was Hank Reeve.
He's still there.
He's still there, yeah.
Anthony Dixon, 37 years.
Yeah.
How
There's
long
only
was
one
H-
guy, there's
how long
one
was
guy
H-
from the German pavilion who's still there. All the rest of us are gone.
How long has H been there? 30 some? 40 years? H Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Oh.
when they hired him because I opened that joint in Tampa with Bob Adams, and H was the trombone player in the band.
Yeah.
Because they had that place, the same owners had the place down in Naples. And then
Me and H.
Donnie
Yeah,
Mopsy.
Well, you took Don Mopsick's place then.
That's right. That's right. Don Mopsick.
Don Mopsick came up to work with me up in Disney.
Yeah, yeah.
Was
And
Pistorius was playing piano with y'all. Steve Pistorius?
that's right.
That was
Steve
at the
Pistorius.
levy. That was at the levy, right, Mark?
The levy, yeah.
The levy, because was working with me and Danny and Tara in the New York club, and that's when we closed the New York club in January of '76.
Yeah, I was on the road.
And
Yeah.
H went down there immediately, right down there with you guys.
That's right. Yeah. And,
He just left like 6 months ago, right? 8 months ago.
well, they closed. They let
closed,
the
right.
band go. It's gone. Yeah.
So where is he now?
Collecting food stamps?
Well, you know what they do is when they shut down a band like that, they put you on what's called CT status. And you can come back and work, any other job you're qualified to do.
Casual temporary.
Yeah, and the thing about the Disney right now it's got to be chaotic. I have no idea. I'm totally out of touch with it. But one of the things that they used to be pretty good about was that they would bring people back, because generally when people got laid off, except for guys that like totally exploded and had to be fired, most of the time when they shut down a band, it was because two guys in Burbank, California got in an argument over a spreadsheet, and that was it. That day, 28 people would get it in the neck.
That's it.
And it had nothing to do with the audience. They always used to survey the audiences, the suits would come around. I mean, but it didn't matter. It was the bean counters and you were gone. So, and that didn't exactly help the morale with a lot of people.
With the street people, Mark, they couldn't justify under that squiggly little line over in the lower right-hand corner of their spreadsheet, some group sitting on the corner playing their ass off for these people. They can't justify it numerically. You're right, the bean counters, what you're saying.
Well, the thing that made the German pavilion safe was that we were sponsored. Beck's Beer and Hummel Figurines. And Beck's Beer wanted that music. And that was it. So, and we were in the beer garden. We were doing a lunch show and an evening show 7 days a week. And the Atmosphere guys, and I did a split shift, so I did both. The Atmosphere guys out in the courtyard pulled them into the bookstore, the wine store. It was ballyhoo for the rest of the pavilion. So, we had 4 tuba players in that pavilion alone. We had 14 accordion players on that.
Back in the heyday of Disney, we counted them one time in the Orlando area. There were 23 full-time working tuba players.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, there's nowhere in the world where that.
It was a musical Shangri-La, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Everybody would know working. And they worked a lot.
Oh, yeah. And you could always pick up extra work. That was very nice too.
Well, I'll give you one like that. Before COVID started here in New Orleans, there was 13 full-time banjo players working. Right before COVID started. Who would have thunk that?
Just on Bourbon Street?
No, in New Orleans.
Wow.
Yeah. Who would have
my Rolodex is old and rotten, so I don't have a lot of banjo players in it anymore. But right now, the talent pool's a little thin in the New York area for people who know how to do your gigs,
Right.
Just are. And the other thing is it's no better with the horns. I've heard these horror stories. Somebody wanted to play High Society and the clarinet player didn't know the variation. Jesus, it's slipping,
Yeah, for sure.
So same old business. You learn what you need to know. And if
But
there
you
was
know what,
business,
Pete?
then you'd learn it,
Mike and Peter, back in before the New Orleans mustache burned down, I would say in the early 70s, we always had a whole lot of tuba players working. Not only Peter, but I can name 5 of them right now, just like that. Neil Tidwell, Danny Rubio, Ben Smith.
They are. Yep. Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
Hank Grieve.
Reed was there. I mean,
Wes Mix could play a tuba too,
Wes
couldn't he?
Hicks, you know, Charlie
Well,
Hernandez.
Ed Firth.
All those guys were
Yeah.
ready to play gigs. We had a lot of them working, a lot of tuba players working, and they weren't working just in the street. That's
No.
what it is now. In the
Yeah.
street bands. Back then, it was indoor playing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I look at these kids with that tuba skinny band, you know, and it's like, well, you know, it kind of sucks that they have to work on the street. I mean, they've rehearsed, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're working pretty hard, you know, they're trying. And they're
He's-
also respectful of the repertoire. They've learned those tunes.
I like tuba skinny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuba Skinny's cool. Tuba Skinny is really cool. They're fun.
Guess
They're
what?
fun. But you're absolutely right. They've paid their dues. They know the repertoire, and they're true to the style. They're true to the style, and they execute quite well. And they do nicely.
Well, about 10 years ago, they were the warm-up band to the band I was in at Fritzl's. So it
Really?
pays to be young because now they're famous and I'm sitting here talking to you friggin' guys.
Hey, they're famous on YouTube. I don't know if
Yeah.
that means money.
Yeah.
I'm famous on YouTube. Nothing.
No residual.
Hey, one note for you banjo guys, I just picked up a B&D number 8 Montana Plectrum.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Good, good. That make you play better.
No, I play like hell. I now got 4 B&Ds and a Vega.
And Mike and I got some new banjos in the last 10 years. We thought those new banjos would make us play better. We're disappointed, huh, Mike?
You betcha. Yeah. That damn banjos are sucking, man. I'm telling you right now.
It's
Yes,
I went out and got a-
how
I went out and
much
got a
heavier
bad
my
banjo.
tuba is.
You got what, Chris?
I got a bad banjo. I was tired of playing my good banjo. And so I got like a little Vega, what do they call that? The Wonder something or other.
little
Wonder.
Little Wonder.
Yeah. It's a great little
Stevie
banjo
Wonder.
to drag around and you don't have to worry about it. It's light. I take the resonator off and you could just take it on a picnic and you don't worry about it. My other banjo is just, I worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Does Janie still make banjos?
Long gone.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ivan? No, he passed away many, many years ago.
Les Muskie had 5 or 6 of them.
I've got one that was done in 74.
I had one.
The stand cast resonator. Yeah.
Right.
It's some of the parts look like they came off a brake drum.
So that mute he had on it was the handle in a toilet pump.
Yeah, he was a piece of work.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Herbert and Bill Dern and I went down to Philadelphia to the Mummers Show of Shows. They used to do this in the University of Pennsylvania field house. And if you wanted an overdose of mummer bands, this was where you got it. And it would be, they would do it on successive days in January, because their big thing is the New Year's Day parade.
Right.
And so it would be like, here comes the Furco string band, here comes the Freilinger string band. Well, our host for the evening was Jimmy Ivan. And we're sitting there, and of course, we're sitting there with 32-ounce beers, like it's another, Mummers band. Yeah, great. And he's there filling us full of the gossip on the bands. And the one that killed me, I mean, I almost wet myself laughing. He leaned over like it was a big secret. Apparently there was a string band association. And this band was introduced, and Jimmy leaned over and said, "This is a renegade band."
Okay.
It was like, great. He was a piece of work. He was a piece of work. But he'd come to clubs and drag those things around, and he'd take them back and tweak them. He was really trying to do something,
Well, you know what? Les Muscat loved those Janie banjos. I've got one. I don't love it at all. But I heard that some of those guys in those string bands, they want the old Janie banjos. They're willing to pay top dollar for those pieces of shit. You know? Just because it's a Janie banjo. That's what I heard. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think Les's theory was I'm playing onto a microphone, so who cares? You know, it didn't have any decent resonance of itself, you know, but
Remember Les had that purple one? You remember that?
Yeah,
Purple?
he hired somebody to give it a paint job and he didn't tell him what it was gonna be and ended up, what do you call it, the purple monster?
Yeah.
they played it anyway. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm heading out. Mark,
Mike.
Have to,
next-
Hey, Mike.
Take care, Mike.
I'm
It's
heading
good to
out.
see
Good
everybody.
night, Mike.
Me too.
Take it easy.
Mark, good. Thanks for joining us.
Mark,
It's a
thank
pleasure.
you,
Guys.
I
guys.
gotta go too.
You,
Hey, you
man.
guys
Thank you
send-
very much, Tom, and tell Emily and
I will.
Noah that for me.
Okay.
Send
You know,
Tom.
Mark, if you know anybody else's email, send it to Tom and he'll put them on the list, right,
All right,
Tom?
everybody on-
Hey, Mark, are you on the email list?
Yes, I am. That's all
Okay,
I,
good.
that's why
Well,
I'm
you
here
guys
tonight.
send your emails to Joel to tell him you're interested in this reunion.
Okay, if I turn up any more photographs,
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
I'll put them up, you know. You know, it's,
Hi, y'all.
guilty as charged.
Okay, Mike.
All right, guys.
All
All right, good night, guys.
So,
See you
Good
later.
night, everybody.
Be well, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Tom.
See you next
No
week.
problem. See you next week.
stay safe on St. Patrick's Day.